So we're talking about interest. Okay. Now, in terms of topics in school, I believe this topic is the most important topic you could ever learn. If you forget everything else in school, I'm not saying you must forget everything else in school, but if you forget everything else in school, please learn about interest. All right, because interest is going to affect you in your life pretty much no matter what you do. Okay, you're going to be affected by this. So it's important to understand it and how it works, because you can use it to your advantage or it can really hurt you. Okay, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. All right, so here's a definition for interest. It's been around for hundreds or thousands of years. It's the money paid. All right, let's read it. It's the money paid at regular intervals at a particular rate for an amount that's borrowed or loaned. Okay, and we're going to break this up, this definition, because there's important things in here. So it's money paid at regular intervals. All right, we're going to talk about that. At a particular rate for amount borrowed or loaned. All right, now we're going to take a look at those three words specifically in the definition for interest. Okay, so let's look at intervals. All right, interest is applied at different intervals. All right, and these are intervals of time. Who can tell me what is the most common interval of time that interest is applied at? How often is interest applied or calculated when you're borrowing or loaning money? Who can tell me? How often is interest applied or calculated? What interval of time do you know that interest is applied on an amount that's borrowed or loaned? Who can tell me? Are we talking seconds here? Are we talking weeks? What interval of time are we talking about when we look at interval calculations? Sorry, interest calculations. Who knows? Anybody? Surely you guys must have heard of interest and how often it gets applied. Or when people talk about interest rates for a loan or investments, they say you can earn this much interest per what time interval have you guys heard of? Is it every 10 years? Is it every 6 months? An hour? All right, I'm younger saying maybe interest is applied every hour. Anyone else? Months? Per minute? Fifi's like, really? Can we do minutes? Jasmine Daniels here with annum. Seconds? Tando's saying maybe even seconds. All kinds of different time intervals here. All right. Now, Jasmine has written a word there, annum. All right. I want to focus on that one there. Per annum. All right. Per annum. Who knows what the word annum means? All right. Who knows what the word annum means? It's a Latin word. All right. Per annum. Interest can be applied per annum. Yes. A year. What I believe. Thank you. Yes, Bianca. Good. A year. Per annum or per year. All right. You often see in questions and mathematical questions that they will use the letters PA. All right. PA stands for per annum or per year. All right. So interest calculations are often given as an interest calculation per year. It's applied per year or per annum. All right. There are other time intervals. You can use months, weeks, and days. All right. So instead of per annum, I'm going to mention your months. Interest can be applied every month. All right. Weeks is not very common. Okay. And I'm going to include days here as well. All right. Now, the monthly interest calculation is often applied or used because you get bank statements every month. All right. So sometimes they will do the interest calculation for you every month. So because statements are often given every month. You can also get daily interest calculations. All right. So that we don't have to worry about when you're loaning, how long you're loaning for. It doesn't have to worry about statements, which day of the statement, doesn't matter. We can also get interest applied daily. All right. You can actually break up an interest rate into any time interval you want. But these three here are the common ones. Okay. So per annum, which is per year, monthly, and daily. All right. So these are the time intervals that interest can be applied. All right. Now, let's look at the second word there, rates. Now, this is the interest rate. All right. Now, if I said to you, the interest for money borrowed is 8%. Who can tell me, is that 8% an interest rate? Yes or no? Is that there that I've written down, that 8% an interest rate? Yes or no? All right. Yes, 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 yes. So I'm going, people saying yes. All right. People are saying yes, it looks familiar. I think you guys are looking at it and you're saying it looks familiar. All right. Okay, so a lot of you are agreeing. Let me diverge a little bit. Let me go on a different course here. Here is a speed. Here is a speed. This is the speed limit that you can drive on a highway, right? 120 kilometers per hour. This is actually called a rate of speed. Okay, this is called a rate of speed. All right. And there's something about these units here which make it a rate. All right, a rate of speed. Okay. You can also get a pay. Let's call this a rate of speed. Or I'll say rate of speed. We can also get a pay rate. Here's another rate, a pay rate. Let's say that is a pay rate, or in fact, let's not use day, let's say hours. Okay, 200 Rand per hour. All right. So now I've given you a rate of speed and a pay rate. What I need you to do is to tell me, what about these numbers here? What about these numbers here? Tells you it's a rate. So look at these two numbers here. What about these two numbers here tell you that they are rates? Who can tell me? The units. Nompolelo, good. Per. Chiamo, yes. Travel 103 kilometers per hours. Good. It's per by the interval. Very good. You guys know. All right. So it's you guys are using the word per. Very good. So this little line here is per. All right, that's what that line means, that line there. So if I read this rate of speed, it's 120 kilometers per hour. All right, so it's per unit, and someone mentioned there per unit. So this part here at the back, that / and the hour, it's per unit of time, distance per unit. Very good, Tando. So it's per unit of time. So it's a speed or an amount per unit of time. Okay. You guys understand. I can see that you understand. Very good. Now, I'm going to come back. Let's delete all this. You understand? All right. I'm going to delete all that. Let's come back to our rate of interest. The question I ask you is what I've written here an interest rate? Yes or no? Is what I've written here 8% an interest rate? Yes or no? Bianca's saying no now. Oliver's saying yes. All right. Now, after what I've just explained to you, if this is a rate, if this is a interest rate, it's missing something, isn't it? There's something missing here to make it a rate. All right. What is missing from this 8% that I need to put down there to make it a rate? Per. Very good, Bianca. It needs per, doesn't it? It needs per unit. Very good. So this needs per, I'll write the word per, and a unit of time. All right. It needs a per, yeah, time interval, Jasmine. Very good. It needs per unit of time. Now, we just discussed above the units of time that we use usually in interest. All right. And the first one is the most common one. So this time interval here is the most common one. So interest rates are often given to you as per annum or per year. All right. So when a bank, very good, Tando, when a bank or a financial institution tells you an interest rate that you're going to use, if you're loaning money or if you're borrowing money, or if you're putting money in the bank or investing, they have to tell you the rate of interest in terms of rate of interest. You will earn 8%, but you need a unit of time. So they will always give you a unit of time. So it's usually 8% per year or 8% per annum. All right. So we often see these letters here, PA, which stand for per annum. All right. Per annum. So when I give you an interest rate, when the exam gives you an interest rate, when the bank and when you go out after school and actually borrow money or invest money, the bank has to give you an interest rate with a unit of time. You can earn 8% on the amount that you borrow or invest or loan per year, per annum, per year or per month or per day, right? But it's often per year. Okay. So an interest rate needs this unit of time, per unit of time. Okay. Now let's talk about the last one. The amount, rands. Okay. We often call this here the amount that you're going to borrow, the amount that you're going to invest, or the amount you're going to loan, the principal amount. All right. Now, when you think of the word principal, I know what you're all thinking. This is the person in charge of your school. Okay. Yes, I agree with you. But that word principal also has another meaning. The word principal can also mean starting point, beginning point, all right, or at the beginning, or initially at the beginning of something. All right. So, for example, if you're learning different things at school, for example, if you're learning history or geography or Afrikaans, they will always start a new topic with some very basic information. And this is the principal information, the starting information. You have to learn the principal information first before you can add up onto that. Okay. First step, Tando. Very good. It's the first step. Okay. It's the first step. So the principal amount is the starting amount. So I'll put you in bracket the starting amount. All right. It's the starting amount. When you invest at a bank, the principal amount is the starting amount. It's the amount that you start with and you put into the bank account, or it's the amount that you're going to borrow from the bank. That principal amount will change based on the interest rate and the calculation that gets done. So you start with an amount and then it changes after that. All right. Okay. It usually grows. So the principal amount is your starting amount. So in each question, there's three things we need to look for. Number one, the time interval for the question. And usually it's an annual one per year. We need to find out what the interest rate is. Okay. The rate of interest. And we usually need to find out what is the principal amount. Okay, so these three things are important to pull out of every question on interest that you get. Okay. All right. I hope you guys are okay with this so far. Remember, shout if you do not understand. Okay. So here is a scenario. Okay. So here we have, and I'm going to just move this other stuff down out the way. So here we have an example. Let's look at the example. Example. Calculate 7% interest on an amount of 5,460. Now, straight away, after what I've just told you, what information, what are the three things that I asked you to look for is missing from this question? What information is missing from this question that I have here, this example that I have here? We've got a principal amount. We have an interest. I almost said rate, but there isn't even a rate there. What's missing? What's missing from this question? Time interval. Interval. Very good. Very good, guys. Yes, the time. Yes, yes, time. Everyone's saying time. Yes, that's it. It's time. All right. So we don't know how long this calculation must go on for. And the 7% earned on this 5,460, is this for a year? We don't know. There's no time interval here. All right. Very good. You guys are on the ball. Okay. So I'm leaving time out of this question here for a reason. So I want to show you just basically how interest works. And I've got this bar here. So we're going to do the calculation, but I want you to also visually see what happens. Now, let's go back to the calculation in this big block. I want to calculate 7% interest on an amount of 5,460. Please, someone raise your hand. I need someone to explain to me. Yes, Tando, very good. Explain to me how I do this calculation. How can I calculate 7% interest on an amount of 5,460? Who can tell me how to calculate this? Anybody? Or Abile? All right, there we go.
Evening, sir.
Evening, how are you, young man?
Good evening, sir.
Good. Help me out. How do I do this?
So you're gonna put in your calculator and say 7/100 times 5,460.
All right, very good. Now I'm going to write that onto, or really, that's perfect. Thank you very much. Exactly what I was looking for. Well done. All right, so I'm going to write that down exactly like you said. So, oopsie. So 7/100. All right. So this 7% here, interest, is converted to a fraction. A percentage can be converted to a fraction. You all know that. So 7% can be written as 7/100. It can also be written as a decimal, can it not? What is 7/100 as a decimal? Who can tell me what is 7/100 as a decimal? Okay, or a bit you close there. 0.7. There we go. All right, you're missing a 0 there. So it's 0,07. All right. So these three things are all the same. They're interchangeable, and we know how to change between them. All right. This is like a percentage calculation. We've done that before. All right. So 7% can be written as 7/100 or 0,07 or 7% like that. I think the fraction method is the best one to use. So we're going to say 7/100 here times, like what Abila said, 5,460. And you should all be able to do this. And you should all be getting an answer of 382,2. All right, 382,2. Okay, perfect. Now, what I wanted to do was I wanted to represent that on my bar. So let's say you have a sum of money that can be represented by this bar. All right. When you calculate interest, what you're doing is you are increasing your lump sum of money by a small amount. All right. I'm going to draw a little extra piece on the top there. Okay. So your bar, which was 5,460, has grown by this portion of interest, which is 382 Rand 20. Who can tell me now, what is the new total? What is the new total? That'll be easy to calculate, won't it? All right. What is the new total? How big is our bar? How much is in our bar now? You should all be getting your calculators ready. Or should be tapping away in your calculators there. How much do I have now in total? If I work out this interest and add it on, 584220. All right. So I can say on my calculator, I can say plus 5460, and we should all be getting the same value of 584220. All right. So this bar has grown now. 584220. All right. 584220. Okay. So this whole bar now is this big. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm doing this, you might be thinking, what is going on here? All right. What is going on here? So the question was, I have originally 5,460. I've worked out an interest portion, 7% of that, which works out to be 382 Rand 20. So what is the whole total now together of these two? You add them up and you get 5,842 Rand 20. All right. Okay. So you add those two answers up here. So these two values must be added together. All right. So it's this black portion of the bar plus the little red portion of the bar on top to give me the total portion of this bar, the total value of the bar. All right. So you added the interest on to the principal amounts. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? We often do calculations in a line here in a little block with just numbers, but it's important to visualize what is happening. An original bar, which is the black one, has grown at a certain rate of interest to become a new total value. Okay, so the new value of this bar is 5,842. All right, it's a new bar now. All right, and if this interest rate was applied in 1 year, you could say that my value of 5,460 has grown to a new 5,842 over 1 year. All right. Now, this growth, ladies and gentlemen, it's incredibly powerful. And I don't think you realize how powerful this is, because this 382 Rand, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand this. Is free. What do I mean by that? You did not have to work to do anything to earn this money. Yes, you had to have 5,460 and give it to a bank, but you did no work to earn this 382. You did nothing. All you did was put it into a bank. I don't think we realize how powerful this is. You've worked nothing to get this. You've done nothing to earn this. All you had to do was to have a lump sum first. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Oh, you got to get the money first. True. You got to get the 5,460 first, but you put it in a bank account and wait a year, which is the hardest thing. You had to wait a whole year. But after the year, the bank phones you and says, dear sir or madam, by the way, your 5,460 has now grown because of the 7% interest applied, and is now 5,842. This new bar that you have has grown by that little red portion for free. You've done no work to earn it. Now, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that's really, really cool. Anywhere that you don't have to work and get free money, it's incredible. It's incredible. Right. On the flip side of this, on the opposite side to this, though, Bianca, thank you for that. I'm glad somebody thinks it's exciting. I think this is exciting. Why don't we all do this? Let's stop for a second. We're going to carry on with some calculations now. Let's take a break, guys. Let's take a break. Why are we not more excited about this? Why do people not get more excited about this? Why are you and I not talking about this more? It's break time. Put your pens down, put your calculators down. Talk to me, people. Someone come online, raise your hand, unmute. Why are we not talking about this? It's free money. Tando, talk to me.
So
Talk
how
to me,
did I
Tando.
do there in my calculation? What did I do?
In your calculation, let's have a look.
When I did say
Oh,
7 over
yes, you've done that first pass right. Then you said the second part was 382,2 plus. You mustn't add 382,2 to 382,2 again. You must add 382,2 to the original 5,460. So you say 382,2 plus 5,460.
Yes.
Okay, and then you'll get the right answer, which is 5,842.
All right.
You getting it?
Yes, I'm getting it there. Yes.
All right, there we go. All right, awesome. Tano, tell me, did you know about this powerful thing, this free money?
About getting free money.
Yes.
I did not know. Seriously, did not know about getting free money.
This is free money. All you have to do is you give your money to the bank, you walk away, come back a year later, and the bank says, yo, by the way, we're giving you some free money. You've done no job, you've done nothing to earn that money. Don't you think that's cool?
It's cool, but
Then
there are
why
many
don't we?
things that I can do about them.
What can you do? Tell me.
First thing, I will look around inside my mother's house to see if there are some things that need to be done.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Tando.
And
You're
that's
absolutely
all.
right. There are more important things that need
Thanks,
our
sir.
attention than putting money in the bank. You're right. It's hard to put the money away and know that it's sitting there when you have needs that are all around you. Hey.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, Tando. Thank you very much. And that's the truth, isn't it? There are needs all around us.
Yes, sir.
There are needs, things that we need, and also things that we want. Sometimes we can't have the things that we want because
Yes.
we have to buy the things that we need, right?
Yes, and you cannot have same things around, repeating it all the time.
Yeah. No, Tando, thank you very much. You're absolutely right. Very, very, very good. Thank you, Tando. Is there anyone
Thanks, sir.
else that wants? Thank you, Tando. Is there anyone else that wants to talk about this free money? What you think about it? Why don't we do this more often? Tando's given us a reason. Says, sir, we have needs. That 5,460 Rand needs to be used somewhere on the house. Bianca, it's free. It's free. You don't do any work. You don't have to do any. The only thing you have to do is hand the money over to a bank and put it in an account. That's all you have to do. And that's the hard part because like Tando says, you need that money for other things. There's always a need to spend money on. There's needs and wants. There's always needs. There's also things that we want, like a PlayStation or a new pair of shoes or to go out and have a lunch with someone like that. So those are wants, not really needs. All right, Katlejo. Yes,
Hello,
Katlejo.
sir.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good and you, sir?
Don't you get excited about interest?
I'm so excited, TK. Do many things with this money.
Yeah, it's free money. I mean, the idea of free money really appeals to me.
You can start up a small business and then like get as an entrepreneur, you get a remuneration of profit. So with
Yeah,
that profit, you can also invest it, do any investment in your bank,
yeah.
get more money,
Get more
keep on
money.
growing the money. Yes,
Keep on growing.
always,
Yes.
yeah, keep on getting a free money.
Keep on getting that interest, get the free money. Tell me now, why do we not do this? Why is it, I mean, we've heard a very good reason why people don't do this, but why do you think we don't use this powerful thing?
I think many people don't save their money because, just like Tando said, of the needs that they want to use the money off in the house, and they, like, I don't know, they have many uses for the money inside the house,
Yeah,
buying
yeah.
groceries, like fixing the roofing, anything around the house. That's why most of the people cannot save the money.
Mm. Yeah, you're right. Most people can't save money. This is the problem. Most people can't save money. It's hard to put that money away and forget about it. Okay.
Yeah,
So like
yes,
someone
sir.
Tabele said here, putting money away hurts. You're right, it does. Putting money away hurts. It's hard to have money in your hand and then say, all right, I'm going to go put it in a bank and then walk away. That is the hard part in all of this. That is the hard part. If you can put the money away in the bank and then walk away, if you're able to, this is what happens. You get this free interest. Okay, so if you can do it, you should do it. You should do it. And we're going to learn about a calculation that's coming after. The longer you do this, the more this money grows. I'm going to talk to you guys about it now. Okay, guys, get excited about interest. Like I said, yeah, exactly, Bianca. It's free money, man. Free money. Get excited about it because interest, this concept is going to work for you if you can, or it's going to work against you. All right, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But guys, get excited about interest. This thing is powerful. And if you can make it work for you, it can really help you a lot. It's hard. I know it's hard, but if you can make it work, it can really change your life. All right, let's see how. Now, we're going to talk about interest a little bit further. And we're going to talk about two types of interest. All right, simple interest and compound interest. Okay, there are two types of interest calculations. There's a simple interest calculation and a compound one. Who can tell me the difference between simple interest and compound interest? Anybody out there that can help me? Help me understand the difference between simple interest and compound interest. You don't need to use fancy words. Just use your own words and your own understanding to help me and everyone else understand. Who's out there? Who can help me? Anybody?
Somebody.
Somebody.
Anybody.
Anybody? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you know the difference between simple and compound interest. Just your basic understanding. There's Emmanuel.
Somebody.
Hey, there's somebody.
Anybody.
Good afternoon,
There's
sir.
somebody.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Fine, are you, Emmanuel?
I'm good, thank you. So, sir, simple interest. What I know is that it increases by the same value, every year, right? And then compounding interest, say perhaps you invested 500, nah? Then let's say at the end of the year it's now 600. Now to calculate of next year, it's not going to be 500, but it's now going to be 600, meaning, yeah, you keep using the new value to calculate for the next year.
Yeah.
But then simple interest, it uses the same, like the principal, the amount that you invested.
Yes, absolutely. You're on the money there. Well done, Emmanuel. Thank you very much. All right. So use the word same value every year. So the increase, the principal, let's make some space here. So you increase the principal value by the same value every year. Okay, we're going to have a look at a calculation. This will make sense now. Compound interest, you increase the principal by a new larger value every year. All right. So I'm going to write another note here. For simple interest, it's interest. See, calculated on principal value only. Whereas compound interest is interest calculated on the principal plus interest. All right. And to put it in a nutshell, compound interest is you earn interest on your interest. And we're going to see this working now when we do the calculations. You earn interest on your interest. All right. This will make sense once you do the calculations, but that's a basic idea. Simple interest, you're increasing the principal amount by interest portion the same amount every single year. For compound interest, you're increasing the principal amount by a new value, which grows every year because you're calculating on the previous year's principal amount plus the interest that was earned, and that grows and gets bigger. So the interest calculation also gets bigger, but you're going to see this in action when we do the calculation. So finally, we get to the calculations. All right, we got two scenarios, a simple interest scenario and a compound interest scenario. Now, if you look at the top here, simple interest scenario, it says Peter invests 1,000 Rand at 8% simple interest per annum for 3 years. And then look on the right here, same scenario, it's a compound interest one. Peter invests 1,000 Rand at 8% compound interest per annum for 3 years. So it's the same values, but one is going to be a simple interest calculation and one is going to be a compound interest calculation. So get your calculators ready. I want you to do question 1. Calculate the value of the interest for 1 year only. So take this information. There's 1,000 Rand. That is the interest rate. There's the principal amount. There's the interest rates. And I want you to do it for 1 year only. So one calculation. What is 8% interest on 1,000 Rand? Everyone can do that. Put it into chat when you get your answer. What is 8% on 1,000 Rand? Just once. Do the calculation once for 1 year. And tell me what the answer is. All right, 80. Okay, very good. So 8%, like we did previously, of 1,000 Rand is 80 Rand. Okay, simple as that. All right, simple as that. Let's go to the other scenario. All right, very good. You guys have got it. The other scenario. Let's look at question 1. Calculate the value of the interest calculated for 1 year. Same story. Question 1 here, same story. What's it going to be? 8% of 1,000 Rand. It's going to be exactly the same. All right, so what this shows you is that in the first year, you can earn the same interest in these two scenarios. In the first year, you can earn 80 Rand interest, free money. All right, after the year of investing that money in the bank, you've earned 80 Rand interest because the interest rate is 8% per year. All right, that's the same. Let's go back to scenario 1. Here's question 2 now. This is where the real work comes in. This is where the real work comes in. Question 2 says, determine. Now Jasmine raises a very good question. Is the formula SR equals P times R times T? All right, Jasmine, let me explain something. In math literacy, a good couple of years ago, I'm not sure exactly when they changed it. I think it must be about 4 years ago. Kia will be able to correct me. They decided to do away with talking about formulas. All right, we used to use formulas. We used to use the finance formulas for simple and compound interest, where there was A's and P's and R's and N's. We don't use formulas anymore. They will not give you a formula. They don't want you to use a formula. They want you to do these calculations step by step. All right, so we don't even talk about formulas anymore. You can think of a formula in your head, and how the formula works is important in terms of understanding, but we're not expecting you guys to memorize or know how to use formulas. Okay, so these days the calculations are all step by step. So that's why I've got you year 1, year 2, year 3. We're going to do 3 different calculations and then get a total at the end. All right, so we're not going to use the formula anymore. Okay, so what you'll see how it works now. So in question 2, year 1, determine the total value of the investment at the end of the term for year 1. All right, year 1. All right, now we are going to do the interest calculation in here as well. So we're going to take, watch what I do. We're going to take our 1,000 Rand and add on the interest that we earned. All right, and we said to work out the interest, I'm going to redo this calculation just like we did above. Let's write it this way again. 8 over 100, 8% of 1,000 Rand. Okay, and this will give us 1,000 Rand, which you invested, plus your interest, which you earned. And we said that works out to be 80 Rand, which means at the end of year 1, in your bank account, the balance should be 1,080 Rand. All right. Okay. Now, this is where things start to change. I'm going to do the same calculation on the other side here for the compound interest formula. It is exactly the same. In the first year, you earn percent of 1,000. At the end of the first year, in year 1 for simple interest, we've got 1,080 Rand. All right. Now we're going to rerun this calculation. Okay. And this is what happens. All right. So we take the previous year's balance. All right. So this has come down. Okay. And we're going to add on our interest. Now, when we calculate interest for simple interest, we say again, 8% of, and here's the change. We're not going to say 8% of this value. In simple interest, you calculate 8% on the same principal amount every year, which is 1,000 Rand. All right. So this value here is not the same as this one here in a simple interest calculation. This 1,000 Rand comes from the question. It's you invest 1,000 Rand, it's always 1,000 Rand. All right. And we know that 8% of 1,000 Rand is 80 Rand, which means the balance in your bank account at the end of year 2 is 1,160 Rand. Okay. Now let's move over to the compound interest formula. If at any time, guys, you don't understand this, just shout. Okay, let's move over to the compound interest formula and see what happens here. All right. So again, for year 2, we're taking our balance from year 1. So it's 1,080 Rand plus the interest that we earn. But in compound interest, you don't calculate interest on the 1,000 Rand over and over again. You've got to earn interest on your previous year's balance, which is 1,080 Rand. So that value is different. So I'm going to go back here and we'll highlight this. This is the difference between compound and simple. That is the difference. Okay. So in simple interest, you use the same principal amount in your calculation. 8% of 1,000, 8% of 1,000, 8% of 1,000. But for compound interest, when you do your interest calculation, you are saying 8% of the previous year added on. Get a new amount, 8% of that new amount added on, 8% of a new amount added on. So this value here gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you can see here in this value, 1,080, there's our 1,000 Rand, our 1,000 Rand there, but look, our 80 Rand of interest we earned the previous year in year one is also in there. So this is why I say compound interest is earning interest on your interest. You're not earning interest only on your principal amount. You're earning interest on your principal plus interest. You earn interest on interest. You're earning interest on free money that they gave you. All right. So compound interest is extremely powerful. Okay. So what is this value now? Yes, someone's already posted it. So it's 1,080 plus, let's work it out. Just like we worked out before, we said 8 over 100 times, not 1,000 now, we need 1,080, which gives us a new value. And we need to add that on, all right? So that's that plus 1,080, 1080. 1166,4. 1166,4. That'll give us a new amount, right? But this value here was 86 Rand 40. Okay, which is different to this. You see? All right. So now I'm going to add that, and you saw that the new value is now 1166,4. All right. Now, you guys, please tell me, what is the answer for year 3 for simple interest, please? What is the answer for year 3 for simple interest? Your time to shine now. What's the answer for year 3? You guys work it out. Simple interest. Bianca's got an answer there. All right, you guys work it out. All right, we're getting values. I'm going to do all the calculations like you should in the exam, and then we're going to confirm our answer. You guys work it out yourself. All right, yes, we should all be getting the same, 1,240 Rand. All right, we added on another 80, 1,240. So this is the bank balance at the end of 3 years. Let's move over to compound. What's the total there? What's the new total for compound, please? You guys do the calculation. I'm writing it out for you. You guys getting answers for the compound? All right, see what I'm doing here? I'm redoing the calculation. In fact, I've made a mistake. This shouldn't be 1080. This should be 1166,4. Okay, and when I do the interest calculation this year, it's on the previous year's total. All right, it's on the previous year's total. Okay, so I'm going to bring that into my calculation. This time it works out to be 93 Rand 31 that I need to add on. All right, so I'm going to say 1166,4, which was the end of year 2, and I need to add on 93 Rand. What was it? 9331. 93 Rand and 31 cents. Whoa, yo, something's wrong here. Got too many numbers in my answer. Yeah. All right. 125971. Yes. 125971. 125971. 125971. Okay. 125971. That should be the answer. All right. Now, when we take a look back at this, there are our two scenarios. Don't worry about the last question there. Let's just have a look at these answers. Same principal amount, same interest rate. One is simple interest, one is compound interest. Okay. And the big difference here on the left, simple interest, you're just adding on the same interest every single year. But for compound interest, you're adding on a new amount. It's getting bigger. The amount you're adding on is getting bigger every year. All right. Because you're not only calculating 8% of the original principal amount, you're calculating 8% of the principal amount plus the interest. You earn interest on your interest as well. Okay. So if you look at these two calculations here, the compound interest calculation will always give you more at the end of the year, at the end of your term. All right. Because you're earning interest on your interest, which is extremely powerful. All right. We're going to have to stop it for tonight, guys. We've come to the end.